Hey, what's up everybody? It's Travel Stories podcast for TeePolgar, and today this is our very first episode and I'm stoked to sit in front of you guys. I was going to stay fucking standing in front of you guys, but it's not the case. As you can see, I'm sitting on my butt. Nevertheless, before we crack in with the textbook stories, which will help you to understand how I got here is Kazakhstan, by the way, now, and what was the road, what was the journey like during the 10 years in the past, what I've been spending on the road. I would like to give you a quick introduction of the very first day of this little T, how I started my journey, how I started my life off as a traveler, how I become a worldwide traveler, runner, mountaineer, and future motivational speaker. So guys, stay tuned because in the next couple minutes, even probably 1 hour, I'm going to talk about myself, how I started on the road. I was born in the time of the Soviet Union. We had the socialist era back in Hungary, as you probably already know. I'm Hungarian. And back in the days, we used to live, our family, my family, in the village, just close, like 20 kilometers from the fourth largest city in Hungary, which was really close to the Croatian border. And that was the place where the Serbian-Croatian war took place. They killed each other. We could actually hear the bombs. We could actually hear the cannon fire every day. And we were lucky enough that Hungary never really got involved in this shit situation. But it was still super disturbing. I mean, imagine yourself growing up as a kid, just digging holes in the ground, as Jim Jeffries used to say, and keep on listening to these cannon fires, cannonballs exploding, being shot in the air. It was really bad. And of course, like people today in Afghanistan, I went there September, but that's another story. You get used to, you customize yourself and you just adjust your daily routine to the situation. In this case, the situation is bombing. In case the situation is just fucking killing each other, which is like super sad, but it is what it is. And after a couple years, we moved to the city. We moved to the big city life, better job, better lifestyle, better like living standards. You know the drill. I mean, most people, do urbanization, take part in urbanizational process simply because of the better lifestyle. The same happened to us. We just wanted to have less time spent on commuting to work, to school and whatever. We wanted to get better opportunities, better living standards, like more higher infrastructure, more accessibility to food, to healthcare, to, I don't know. I was a little kid still, I think I was like 3 years old. It was just after the Soviet Union collapsed actually, when we moved to the big city and we got infected by this materialistic society, which I later on will describe how it affected me at the age of 19. My parents got divorced when I was, I think, age 10. I got a real prick. I couldn't really deal with the divorce and the whole situation, so I got like a little dickhead. Got into fights, I got problems at school. My mother had to go to school to talk to the dean because I was not behaving properly, whatever proper means in our society, right? And then I went to do some sports so I could get rid of all the energy from inside alongside with the anger I had. But then I dragged along my sister because my sister was really connected with me. And then my parents decided, all right, let's try together. So they got together once again. And of course, it didn't work out. It didn't work out because they just got together for us. And it lasted, I think, for 2 years maximum. And then they got divorced again. So my mom happens to be the second and the third wife of my father, who's, by the way, now spending his time with the fourth wife. Respect that, respect, keep on pushing. Anyways, I think I was having like a normal childhood. I couldn't complain. I wasn't achieving high, I wasn't achieving low, being average, mediocre. which was just about right for me back then. I wasn't really like a high achiever back in the days. Anyways, fast forward to age 19, I would say, when I came across, let's fast forward to age 14, when finally Hungarian citizens can legally work along their studies, which I did as well. I handed out leaflets, I worked in supermarkets as a cashier or as a loader. I went to be the Santa Claus on the street and give candies and promoting some supermarkets. Did some party photography. That's cool stuff, like being a fitness trainer nowadays, as you kids would call, I suppose, the muscle man. But I was the Santa Claus. What else did I do? Anyways, I did some hydraulic jobs, just dicking around, which was good, because finally, by the age of 16, I was not dependent on my parents in a sense that, like, financial wise, I still lived under their roof, my mom's roof. I ate her food, which was awesome. That's a shout out for my mother. Thanks for the food. Could go break. And just like, anyways, at some point I started to realize that, hey, just fucking around, it's not going to pay me off. So I started to buy lands. I got like a couple short strips back in Hungary. I used to slay goat. I used to take care of hens and all the fucking like domesticated animals, so we can get milk or dairy products or meat, whatever is that. And I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that until the age of 18, I suppose, when I started to get distracted by this idea. All right, it's getting boring. I gotta do something else with my life. It seems that the path which was really well established, well set for me, get an education, get a job, get a house, get a wife, get some kids. And what's the next step? Oh yeah, that's right, to die. Which we are happily doing it nowadays, right? And I was going to do the same. I was super happy about this because I had connections, I had good backgrounds, I was able to fix myself a good job. Generally speaking, a really decent life. Well, I don't know, I still don't know actually today. Until today, what was the real reason why I said that, oh, fuck it, it's not going to be the way for me. But at some point I came across an advertisement which was like, okay, you can study to be a waiter. In 10 weeks, we're going to teach you what to do and what's up. And afterwards, you are good to go on a ocean liner. I was like, ocean liner, fuck that, this is for me. I get to live on a ship. I get to save 100% because on a ship probably you are just a slave. And you will have no time to spend your money at all, which was the case, by the way, but let's not rush into that one. And so I paid, I think it was $200. Once a week we met for like 3 hours or so, and we studied like English vocabulary, how to make Caesar salad, how to make Greek salad, fucking schnitzel, all the garbage food actually, which they serve on the ship, right? And there was one single class actually, and that was the only class which was useful for us, which is how to lift 4 plates. Because guess what? On the interview, when we had this like job interview, we all got tested by lifting the 4 plates. And if you could lift 4 plates, you got yourself a job on a river liner. And I say river liner because turns out I was 19 at the time, that you gotta be 21 to work on an ocean liner. To work on an ocean liner, like I said, you need to be 21, and the simple reason for that is because you are on US waters and you are registered to the States, but you are working for some Cyprus company which is tax haven, so they don't need to pay tax afterwards. It's bureaucratic crap. I didn't really get into that, especially because, like I said, I was not liable to take part in it. What I was able to take part in it is working on a river liner. Now the difference is between an ocean liner and a river liner is that, guess what? One is on the ocean, another one is on the river. So I passed the interview, lifted the 4 plates, fuck that. I got myself a train ticket to Basel, big city in Switzerland on the border of Germany and France and Switzerland. And I checked in. I checked in for 2.5 months because I arrived in the middle of the season, and I was working there like a slave. 14, if it was an easy day, 12 hours straight up each day, with a couple hours of lunch break in between, which I did enjoy. Most of the people actually go to sleep during that lunch break, but I was just so upset. This was my first overseas experience, well, other side of the Europe, which is like less than 1,000 kilometers, but still it was to me like America, the Big Apple, you know. And every single time I had opportunity, I just like shot into the city and I took pictures, tried some local food, or just walked around the city center to take some memories with myself, or just, I don't know, steal an apple probably, because it was a huge challenge to me how to become a dickhead, which was pretty good at it, by the way, for the record. But anyways, I was able to make shitloads of money, well, which is not that much by now, but by my standards, because your standards always increase, right? Otherwise you're just losing against life, you're losing against your own dreams. What I did is that I saved up 100% of the money. I didn't spend jack shit, only like here and there, went out to eat some, I don't know, German or Dutch food, which is like deep fried croquettes usually. What I was able to do is to save up 100% of my earnings. And besides that, I was so fortunate actually that I left my religion behind. Guys, it's something that I was not sure if I'm going to talk about, but fuck it, I'm just getting it straight up. I used to be a hardcore Christian. Hardcore means that it's like a cult. Well, by state standards, by religious standards. And I was there for 2 years. During the 2 years, guys, I stopped having sex, I stopped dating, I stopped drinking, stopped partying, stopped doing haram, as the Islam would say, because right now, guess what, I'm really into the Islam, I'm learning a lot about, but this is another story again, how I got into Islam. I'm not religious still, up to today, since the age of 19, I left religion, but fuck it, it's too boring and it's too handcuffing for me. So the reason I went actually to the Riverliner and apply for this job is because I just wanted to earn my own money. Like I said, that at some point I went to these like student perkies where I was like living, doing leaflets, doing some like shuttle service, sort of like being a waiter, being just a little dickhead, like doing these perky jobs, which back in the days I enjoyed because it was like new. I got some pocket money. I could go on a bus, go on a booze with my friends, could party or whatever. But that was way before I got like hardcore Christian. At some point, at the age of 14, I think. Yeah, age of 14. I was like a straight up. I was a believer, but I didn't give jack shit about religion itself. But at the age of 14, I got some shit in my life, and I turned to God, because guess when we don't turn to God when everything is alright and we are settled and we are shooting for the stars. We turn to God when we are hitting rock bottom and when we don't see how we can get up, how we can stand up and just keep on pushing it. And some shit happened in my life. I'm not really sure. Probably it was something related to my psychological state, how I perceive my surroundings. Anyways, I turned to God and I found answers, which are not really answers, but peace. Because somebody finally was understanding me, listening to me. Of course, there's a fucking invisible man in the sky who loves me but going to punish me if I touch myself. But he understood me. He gave me peace. So it's a bit paradox, but I'm not going to get into details because there might be out there might be some religious fans who want me to burn in hell, and I don't want you guys to unsubscribe. If you don't like it, the fact I'm talking about religion or whatever, please leave a negative comment, a negative rating, because even that is going to be a marketing for me. And this is what we are doing here, spreading the information, spreading the news, whether it's negative or positive. I leave it up to you, by the way. And I can thank so much to my parents because they never sent me to get baptized. They never forced religion on me. Which is awesome. And traveling around the world, especially in Asia, where either you are hardcore atheist or hardcore religious, then it's so amazing to see and to understand, looking back, that my parents were like super laid back over this. That they They didn't force it. They let me evolve organically, naturally, without any like external force. So big thanks, mom and dad, for being so cool, so liberal over this. But at some point, like I told you, that I turned to religion. I got Catholic, like 96% of the population in Hungary, or I don't even know. I'm not really getting interested in these numbers. And I got baptized. I got some certain qualifications within, so I could be like the little man for the priest, which was fun back in the old days. And me being a dickhead quickly came out because we just kept on laughing during the church time, during the service time, because we, my friend and me, were like just like making jokes and like, hey, look at that guy how he's crawling for the preacher to get some blessings, and it's funny as. Nevertheless, age of 17, I went to work on a construction, and my boss turns out to be the part of this other Christian but not Catholic religious group. You may call them a cult. I call them religious group because they give me so much love, so much help, so much understanding that no other religion had given before. That I sort of joined them, I got involved in them, and I loved it. And then fast forward 2 years when I was preparing for this waitering thing, that they asked me, hey Tiva, is it a good idea to go abroad where you cannot practice your religion, you cannot get involved in this organization, when you cannot hang out with us? And I was like, yeah, I'm strong enough, I'm standing solid, no worry brother. I'm going to pray, I'm going to stick to the stuff, not touching myself, not touching the alcohol, not touching any girls, because I know what's best for me, hey? Straight up to the heaven. Fucking hell, I was young and bullshit. But those times are over. Anyways, so I did that one. I went on a ship as a straight up religious person, and I came back from the ship as a straight up, not atheist. Back then I did believe in God, I just like couldn't care less about that. So I was on my own and chasing my dreams, struggling through the hard life alone without the support of God. So on the liner, actually, I was working like solid, like I said, absolutely insane amount of hours, an insane amount of work we had to carry out with the other members of the crew. By the way, the other members of the crew, 80% were Hungarians. Guess what? I thought it's going to be an international environment. Fuck that. Everybody spoke Hungarian. Even the house rules were in Hungarian. So in the restaurant where the clients are and all the rich posh pricks are based, we were using English. Well, I was the only one who was using English. Turns out it was a German-speaking ship, and I spoke zero jack shit German. So when I got there, I thought that, hey, what the fuck, where are the English guests? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? There are no English guests here. I was like, what is that supposed to mean? I was told that there will be international clients as well. No, it's a German ship. You operating in German-speaking countries, and we only have like 10, 15 international clients, best. And guess what? That was more than enough for me, because as they realized that I speak no German, it was really easy to prove, then I was able to actually get all the international clients. So I was the only waiter on the ship, on the crew member actually on the ship, who spoke no German. Because the way it works, you have a company in your country who sort of like transfers you and sends your, deploys you for certain companies, but they get like a fat commission either from you or from the company, whatever. In this case, it was me who paid the commission for them, and they just probably wanted top dollars, so they charged me and they said, yeah, it's good, just go. The earlier they get the money, the earlier they deploy me, the earlier they get the money, right? So probably the boss wanted to buy a new car or just new suit, or just wanted to go to the brothel to get laid or whatever, I don't care. It was quite quick, I think. I went to this interview, and after like 10 days I was already on the ship. So it was a sweet deal. It was to me, at least back then. Didn't realize that this is just the bottom line, but back then it was already the peak of the mountain. Anyways, So I went there and I got really exhausted of religion, that I cannot do girls, I cannot do parties, I cannot do alcohol, I cannot do fun stuff, usually, generally speaking. And once I prayed to God that, God, yo, what's up, please? If you exist, just punish me, just slap me in the face. I'm happy to take all the hooks from you. And guess what? Nothing happened. One day I said, okay, fuck it. I just go full throttle. I know which girl digs me. I'm going to take her. I'm going to get wasted. I'm going to party till the morning. I'll go all in. I did go all in, and guess what? My love just turned fucking awesome. Nothing's happened. No punishment, no burning fire, no hell, no nothing. In fact, I got relaxed because finally I was on the track to get more mature, or less mature, however you see it. But back then it meant being more mature, and still did. It did feel like fun, and it was, at least based on the feedbacks from myself and from surroundings, as you like. So I did that for 2.5 months. I returned without religion, but with filled pockets, with gold. I dropped all the non-obligatory classes back at the university. I was a geography major, and I took only English courses because I realized my English is rubbish and I'm not able to speak. It's not good enough to get anywhere other than just being a slave on a ship for the rest of my life, which I realized rather quickly that it's not for me. So yeah, I picked up English so, I would say, and the next year I did some volunteering, work and travel, which was in the States, but actually I'm going to talk about in another time. Guys, if you like this podcast, please don't forget to share it, because sharing is caring, and it's all about information. The reason I'm here, the reason I'm sitting in front of the camera, the reason I'm bullshitting over the microphone is not because I like to see myself. It's not because I like to listen to myself, but it's because I'm fighting against ignoration. Anton and me realized that actually our problem is not materialism, it's not liberalism, it's not religionism, conservatism, whatever ism you like to name, but it's ignorance. Ignorancism, if you like. Because we just don't care about things, and we go on YouTube where you have everything, literally everything you need in life to increase your knowledge, to evolve, to grow, but you just watch fucking funny cats jumping around. You just watch drunk Russian people crossing the street and getting hit by smashed by cars. Do you see the stupidity in this? Engagement is one thing, but can't you get engaged by learning, by listening to some audiobooks? You can maybe learn some shit from it. Anyways, who am I to judge you guys, right? Those funny kids might be really funny. So the reason I'm here, the reason we have launched this Travel Stories podcast, because I want to show you how an individual person, that's me, could evolve on the road, not necessarily from education, not necessarily from family, from commitments, from professional work, sitting behind a computer, rat racing 9 to 5, but simply and completely organically. I started off as a little guy giving out leaflets, and I progressed through traveling, whether it was working, studying, or just like climbing mountains in the Himalayas. I did make a massive progress over the years, and right now I came to the point when I'm completely free. And this is just a teaser for you to see the final destination. What we are working on here at Travel Stories Podcast is that we want to not necessarily fight against your everyday routine, but fight against your negligence, your not being interested in anything other than just engagement. So right now I get to the point when I have a decent life, I have pretty much everything sorted around me, yet I'm focusing on traveling, yet I'm focusing on personal development. Because I truly understand that it doesn't matter how much money I accumulate. I used to make a really decent money. It doesn't matter how much connections I build in a city where I live. It's going to get bored, and all I can do is just go out on a Friday night and get wasted. So on Saturday, Sundays, I can be sick in my bed, throwing up because of the alcohol from last night. So guys, I strongly encourage you to stay tuned, share the vibe, share the good words, give ratings for us, and leave a comment, because I want to know what should I do next time. How can I evolve? How can I make it better for you? Guys, don't let this go slip away. I don't want to make it like a House of Cards season where we only have 6 seasons and I turned up being a pedophile and the whole project just shuts down. I'm hiding pretty well being a pedophile. I'm making my connections because I'm living in one place. Bullshit. Like I told you guys, I don't live anywhere permanently. So guys, stay tuned, because I'm coming back in 2 weeks time with the next episode where I'm going to share you how I got to California and slaved my life away for another summer. Stay tuned, because till next time, you with a little bit of me are shaping society. Bye.